What you are about to hear was never meant to reach you. In our last dispatch, we exposed the central bank, the private institution that creates money from nothing and lends it to governments with interest. Interest that you pay through your taxes forever. Today we go deeper. Inflation. You have been told it is caused by too much money chasing too few goods, a natural economic occurrence. Unfortunate, but unavoidable. That is what they want you to believe. Here is the truth. Inflation is a tax, the most invisible tax ever invented, and it is being used deliberately to transfer your wealth to governments and financial institutions while you sleep. Let us show you exactly how. When a government spends more than it collects in taxes, it has two options: borrow or print. Borrowing creates debt. Printing creates inflation. But here is what most people do not understand. Governments actually prefer inflation because inflation silently reduces the real value of their debt. Think about it. If a government owes $1 trillion today and inflation runs at 10% per year, in 7 years that debt is worth half in real terms. The government wins, you lose. Your savings, your pension, your salary, all quietly eroded, while the debt of the powerful dissolves. This is not accident. This is arithmetic, and they know it. Now here is where it becomes sinister. Central banks have an inflation target. Most aim for 2% per year. They present this as stability, as responsible management of the economy. But 2% inflation means that in 35 years, the purchasing power of your money is cut in half. Every 35 years. Without fail. By design. A person who saves diligently their entire working life retires with money that buys half of what it should. And who benefits from this silent erosion? Those who hold assets, property, stocks, gold, businesses, assets that rise with inflation, assets that the wealthy own, assets that the ordinary person is told they cannot afford. The system does not just tax your income, it taxes your patience, your discipline, your savings. It punishes the responsible and rewards the heavily indebted, because the heavily indebted repay their loans with cheaper future money. This is why the wealthy borrow to buy assets. Not because they are reckless, because they understand the rules of the game, rules that were never taught in any school. Now, what do central banks actually do when inflation rises too fast? They raise interest rates. They tell the public this is to cool the economy, to bring prices under control. What they do not tell you is that higher interest rates crush ordinary borrowers, mortgage holders, small business owners, working families, while the same banks that implement these rates earn more on their own holdings, their bonds, their reserves, their investments. The cure hurts you and enriches them. In every inflationary cycle in modern history, from the Weimar Republic to Zimbabwe to Venezuela to the United States in 2022, the pattern is identical. Ordinary people see their living standards collapse. The financial class acquires distressed assets at discount prices, and when stability returns, the wealth gap has widened permanently. So what do? First, understand that keeping money in a savings account during inflation is a guaranteed loss in real terms. A bank paying you 1% while inflation runs at 6% is robbing you. Legally, openly, with your consent. Second, learn to hold assets that preserve value, property, equity in productive businesses, commodities, precious metals. These are not get-rich-quick schemes. They are the basic tools of financial survival in an inflationary world. Third, invest in financial education. Because the gap between those who understand money and those who do not is not closing. It is widening every single year. In our next dispatch, Episode 3, we go into the most dangerous financial development of our generation: central bank digital currencies, how they work, what they can do, and why every person on this planet needs to understand them before it is too late. Follow this channel so you receive it the moment it is sealed and delivered. Subscribe, because your financial education has only just begun. This dispatch is for educational purposes only. Signed, sealed, and delivered.